Personally, I cannot see life without one of these. And a lot of people confuse one of these with something else. What on earth are you talking about, Jan? We'll get into it in a minute. Be right back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, this is Jan. Welcome to the Save Money and More channel with Jan. How you doing today? Hope that everybody's doing well. Let me know how you're doing in the comment section below. Hope that everybody's doing well today. You know, there is a big difference between one of the things I'm talking about and the other. Before I get specifically into it, let me ask you a question. Let's pretend that a person owns a home and they like to have those cute little picket fences surrounding the property, right? That acts as sort of a dividing line, sort of almost as a buffer between the public street and a person's private property. Okay. Okay, let's pretend that parents, they just had a baby and they happen to have a crib and they get these wonderful things called a bumper. I believe they call them bumper pillows or something like that. They go around the crib and they protect the baby from when they move around, sometimes hitting those slats between the crib sides and stuff of that nature. It's like a protection. It's a surrounding, sort of like a little miniature pillow fortress, if you will, for lack of a better way. Either way, it is a buffer. And then there are other sorts of buffers in life. And I want to talk to you today about one. And a lot of people confuse the budget buffer. How many of you out there have a budget buffer? Let me know in the comment section below if you'd like to let me know. How many of you do not? How many of you never heard of this before? How many of you think that a budget buffer is the same exactly thing as an emergency fund? Okay. A lot of people confuse the two because in many ways, an emergency fund, okay, set up for emergencies, has similarities to a budget buffer, but actually, it is actually not the same thing because the distinction between an emergency fund and a budget buffer is actually rather simple. Okay, so now what is an emergency fund? It's money that we set aside for living expenses. Idealistically, the goal would be to hit 6 months of what you literally need to live every single month. You calculate what you spend to live on every single month. You multiply that by six, and if you could have at least 6 months of that, you are a okay. A lot of people start really small, and they start with maybe a half a month. Then they graduate it up to 1 month. You see where I'm going with this, and that's the best approach because not everybody could fork out right away 6 months of emergency expenses that match your expenses, and then actually even a little bit more of that. I'm just saying. All right. So next. All right, but literally, tongue twister there, literally. So let's talk about budget buffer. So basically, a budget buffer is one of those things in life that you literally do not, bold print, imagine bold print in your mind, you do not intend to spend. Why? That's right. You do not intend to spend. So let's start this over. A budget buffer is money of which you do not intend to spend. You do not intend to use, okay? And it's literally just laying around, like, let's say, that picket fence gate around a property or those pillow bumpers around a crib. It's there. You're glad it's there. It's a safe, secure feeling that it is there. But what is it? It is just there. That's its purpose, just to be there. But people might be saying, but wait a minute, Jan, isn't that like a waste? No, because as your budget buffer is money that one does not intend to use, it is there for, let's say, a person goes off track, makes a miscalculation, makes a mistake, or an unforeseeable expense occurs that month. Okay. So a little bit off track with the spending, an unexpected expense occurs, but that security of which the budget buffer, okay, provides, it is a good feeling to have that budget buffer. It doesn't have to be a ton of money. Okay. So at least you know it acts as a financial cushion, just like the cushion surrounding the crib, just like the gate surrounding the property. You see where I'm going with this? A budget buffer is a very, very good thing to have. Well, some people say, yeah, but Jan, I have an overdraft protection. But guess what? Overdraft protection, it's costing you. It's costing you. Where if you build your own budget buffer, and I'll give it to you in practical sense. We'll use small dollar amounts so it's easy to understand. Okay, let's pretend that a person spends $1,500 a month on bills, on expenses, rent, groceries. I'm being very conservative with these numbers. $1,500 a month. All right. So you see where I am with that. So they spend 1,500. I say personally, it is a wise idea to keep at least 10 to 20% of that figure as your budget buffer. Don't spend it. It is there not to be spent. But it is there should someone make a mistake. Because even people with overdraft protection, okay, eventually you're going to pay for it. Comes out of your pocket. Where that money just sitting there is sitting there, okay? But of course, if you could get monies into a higher interest yielding account, that's always, the best possibility. But to have a budget buffer is different than from an emergency fund, which is a separate item, okay, than a budget buffer. Budget buffers don't have to have a lot of money. So sit down, ask yourself, determine, how do you do this? Do you have any monies left over after all your bills are paid? You don't have to let me know that in the comment section. Ask yourself this over a cup of tea. Sit down with a calculator, okay? Figure it out. A lot of people manage their bills blindly. They let month by month go by as if a drifting balloon, drifting here, there, and everywhere, and to no destination. I don't think that's a wise practice. I truly believe it is much safer, smarter, and wiser to track your expenses and track where your money's going, to identify and to assign where the money is going. Believe it or not, some people don't understand that little bit of an action makes a great impact and makes your life a lot smoother, in my opinion, financially speaking. At the very least, we have enough complications in every other aspect of life, right? So we should at least consider keeping the financial a lot smoother. So having a basic budget buffer, I'll even knock the number down. I'm just using a number figuratively. Let's say one is working with $1,000. What's 10% of 1,000? 100. Keep $100 that you do not intend to touch. Because if you intend to treat it as something that you could spend, then it's just simply money available to spend. We don't want that. We want it to act as that budget buffer, that budget security, that little bit of a cushion to fall back on should we make a mistake or something come up that we didn't expect, an expense that month. Now, this is important as well, so please hang on. Clicking the like button is of extreme importance. So many other people will, as a result of clicking the like button, well, the platform will push out the video to more viewers and they get to hear more messages that, in my opinion, are quite important. So thank you for your help. All it takes is a nanosecond. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to subscribe and anything else like share the video, yay! These are all helpful things. And a super thanks is always welcome. Thank you so very much. All right, everybody. I hope that this helps at least one listener or viewer today. I think budget buffers are of extreme importance, financially speaking, and it really doesn't cost that much. Just take about 10%, 10 to 20, whatever you could work with, of your numbers and see what happens if you just put it away as a little bit of a cushion. All right. Excellent. Have an amazing, fantastic day, and let's enjoy a little tune and an invisible hug when I get back. Hang on. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your lovely family.